Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Suresh Turka from Government College Beria, Pihova, Kurukshetra. Today we are going to talk on module Behavior School of Management from paper Principle and Practices of Management. After completing this module, students should be able to understand the behavior theory of management, features of behavior theory of management, Elton Mayo's Hawthorne study, Mayo's contribution to management thought, Maslow's need hierarchy theory of management, then Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory of management, and McGregor's participation theory. Classical school of management was concerned for high production and efficiency, which considered being the most important to an organization's success at the initial stage. After that, the good working conditions, motivation, and satisfaction formed the foundation for behavioral management theory. Behavioral school of management relies on the concept that managers will better understand the human aspect to workers and treat employees as important assets to achieve goals of the organization. Management taking a special interest in workers makes them feel like part of a special group. As time went on, thinking shifted and management started looking at employee satisfaction and working conditions as a way to increase the productivity. Different theorists like Elton Mayo, Abraham Maslow, Douglas McGregor, Herzberg, and others studied employee productivity under different conditions to determine a connection. The behavior science approach to management laid more stress on the application of the methods and findings of general social psychology and sociology for understanding the organizational behavior. Behavior science movement is regarded as a further refinement of human relations movement with social aspects, with its major emphasis on human relations, informal groups, communication, employee motivation, and leadership styles. The behavior approach to management has drawn attention to a wide range of social psychological phenomena like the dynamics of organizational behavior, group dynamics, organizational conflict, change, and techniques of organizational development. This approach is therefore also known as human relation approach or behavioral science approach because this approach gives more stress on human relations which we can build up by maintaining a good relationship between the management and the employees. Features of behavior theory of management. The different features of behavioral theory of management are motivation. Behavior theory of management considers the different motivational factors which lead to high productivity and high morale of the employees. Second feature is social system. This theory is based on social system of organization and includes different role of employees as well as the role of informal groups in the organization. As we all know, the informal groups play an important role in the organization. Only with the help of formal groups and relations, the objectives of the organization cannot be achieved. Next feature is leadership. Behavior theory explains the role of personal leadership in management and studies the human relations and the relationship between the leader and workers. It also involves the study of successful and unsuccessful managerial behavior. Next feature is communication. It includes the study of various factors relating to the persons and organization which helps in communication channel. These factors may be related to the capacities, capabilities, and the different resources which are available to the organization, and as well as the different financial, motivational, and other factors. Next feature is employee development. It is concerned with the continued upgrading of employee skills and managerial skills, and all these will be possible with the help of proper training, and development techniques should be used in the organization. Elton Mayo's Hawthorne studies. Dear student, as we know that the Hawthorne studies, the concept of Hawthorne studies given by the Elton Mayo, and Elton Mayo was born in Australia in 1880. He became a lecturer at the University of Queensland from 1911 to 1923, and then became a professor of industrial research at Harvard University from 1926 to 1949. He is best known for his work on the Hawthorne studies and is considered one of the fathers of the human relations movement. Elton Mayo started his work at Hawthorne in 1924. At the Hawthorne plant of Western Electric, he discovered that job satisfaction increased through employee participation in decisions rather than through short-term incentives, and explain the various results. So we can say that Elton Mayo contribute an important approach to management, and this approach was not based on the incentives, but it was related to the participation in management. Elton Mayo's Hawthorne studies. This study is based on various factors, and the important feature of this study are social factors. At Hawthorne studies, Elton Mayo described that organization is a social system and it is totally based on social norms and values, and the social norms and values play an important role in motivating the people in the organization. Mayo stated that main cause of changes in productivity study is the restructuring of social relationships. Informal groups are important. Elton Mayo stated that informal groups have a favorable impact on productivity and attitude of the workers, and it influences the work performance. Informal groups may help to overcome the limitation of the formal group. Next factor which is suggested by the Elton Mayo's Hawthorne studies is leadership. As we all know, leadership is very important in each and every organization to achieve the desired results. Informal leaders are more acceptable in an organization because they have more influence on the behavior of the subordinates, as they associate themselves with the social problems of the workers and able to get the cooperation from them. Next factor is communication. During decision making, workers' participation is must, and the logic behind every decision should explain and communicate to the workers. This will not only help to bring much better results, but also useful to understand the attitude of the workers and give them due recognition. So there must be a proper communication system developed within the organization. Next factor is balanced approach. The management must take into account every aspect of the problems of the workers. All the problems should be discussed and decisions should be taken for improving these problems. Experiment showed that a balanced approach should be taken to manage the situation. So all these were the factors which were given by Elton Mayo during Hawthorne studies. In this, we are going to discuss the Mayo's contribution to management thought. As we discussed, Mayo was the first person to advocate for the understanding of workers' problem in the context of growth of science and technology. He wanted to management to understand the problems of workers and make efforts to improve them. As a result, he gave the different approaches, and number one approach is human relations approach. In this approach, Mayo stated that human beings are the most important factor in organization and influence its performance. So, social and psychological needs of human beings cannot be ignored. He is rightly called the father of human relations movement. His ideas were a milestone and a turning point in human relations approach of the management. As we are going to discuss Mayo's contribution to management thought, next point is non-economic awards. Elton Mayo criticized the traditional assumption that workers will work more if more monetary incentives are provided to them. He said that the techniques of monetary incentives were unrealistic and respectful treatment, sense of participation and belonging, recognition, morale, human pride and social interaction are sometimes more important than the monetary incentives. He suggested that instead of the monetary incentives, non-economic award should be given to the workers. Social system. Mayo was of the opinion that informal relationships in the organization are more effective than formal relationships. People from informal groups learnt a lot of things and implement these into the organization. He explained that besides logic and facts, people are also guided by sentiments and feelings, and all these are an important part of the social system. As we discussed earlier, Hawthorne studies conducted research at Hawthorne. The Elton Mayo gave the concept of human relation approach, but this approach was criticized by the different contributors to management, and they stated that in these Hawthorne experiments there is the lack of scientific and dynamic research. The experiments were too narrow to warrant generalization. Despite these observations, Mayo's work was a turning point in the development of management thought, especially when we are compare this thought to the classical thought to management. There are a lot of differences. In classical theory of management, only the monetary incentives were there which motivate the employees for working in the organization. But in Elton Mayo's research, there is the concept of human relations aspect was developed, and it put a lot of changes in the organizational development. In this, we are going to discuss Maslow's need hierarchy theory of motivation. Abraham Maslow's motivation theory is based on the human needs. These needs are classified into a sequential hierarchy from the lower to higher order. And in this hierarchy, the different needs may be divided. And number one need is the physiological needs. These needs are of the lowest order and most basic needs of human beings. Physiological needs involve food, air, water, cloth, and shelter. These needs put remarkable influence on human behavior because one has to meet his physiological needs for survival. So people are motivated to work in the enterprise to have economic rewards to meet their basic needs. So we can also say that the physiological needs are the basic needs. Second need in the hierarchy theory of motivation given by Maslow is the safety and security need. When a person met his physiological needs, then he looks for the safety and security needs. Safety and security needs involve the need for a secure environment which is free from threats of physical and psychological harm. These needs find expression in such desires as economic security and protection from physical dangers. Next need is the social need. As we all know that man is a social animal. These needs therefore refer to belongingness or affiliation. All individuals want to be recognized and accepted in the society. So the social needs are related to society, and after safety and security needs, the social needs come, and that must be completed. Next need defined in the hierarchy theory of motivation is esteem needs. These needs are related to self-esteem and self-respect. These include such needs that indicate self-confidence, achievement, competence, knowledge, and independence. In case of entrepreneurs, the ownership and self-control over enterprise satisfies their esteem needs by providing them status, respect, reputation, and independence. Next need is self-actualization need. The final step under the need hierarchy model is the need for self-actualization. This refers to self-fulfillment. The term self-actualization means to become actualized in what one is potentially good. An entrepreneur may achieve self-actualization in being a successful entrepreneur. Dear students, as we discussed earlier, the hierarchy need theory of motivation, which is given by the Maslow. In Maslow's above need hierarchy theory, human needs are arranged in a lowest to the highest order. The second need does not dominate unless the first is reasonably satisfied, and the third need does not dominate until the first two needs have been reasonably satisfied. This process goes on till the last need. This is because man is never satisfied. If one need is satisfied, another need arises. Once a need is satisfied, it ceases to be a motivating factor. Then there is Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. The psychologist Frederick Herzberg extended the work of Maslow and proposed a new motivation theory, which is known as Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. And this theory is based on two factors, and it is also considered the various assumptions that there are two sets of factors that influence motivation in the workplace. The first of the two are called hygiene factors, and second one called the motivator factors. Herzberg used the term hygiene to describe factors that cause dissatisfaction in the workplace. Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. As we earlier discussed, Herzberg gave the motivational hygiene theory, and he stated that there are two types of factors. One is hygiene factors and another is the satisfactory factors. Satisfactory factors are also known as the motivators. In the hygiene factors, we include compensation, job security, organizational policies, working conditions, leadership quality, and the relationship between supervisors and subordinates. According to Herzberg, these factors do not motivate employees. However, when they are missing or inadequate, these factors can cause serious dissatisfaction among the employees. Hygiene factors are all about making an employee feel comfortable, secure, and happy. So, all these factors must be present in an organization. The second factor is motivators or satisfiers. These factors are related to employee motivation and arise from inherent dependent conditions of the job itself. These factors include responsibility, job satisfaction, recognition, achievement, growth opportunities, and the advancement. All these factors also play an important role in the achievement of the desired results of an organization. Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory is also criticized because those people who generally tend to take credit themselves when things go well, they blame failure on the external environment. This theory basically explains job satisfaction, not motivation. Even job satisfaction is not measured on an overall basis. This theory stated that situational variables are not enough to motivate an individual. McGregor's participation theory. Douglas McGregor was a management professor at the MIT Sloan School of Management and president of Antioch College from 1948 to 1954. He also worked at the Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. In 1960, he wrote a famous book, The Human Side of Enterprise. Douglas McGregor is a contemporary of Abraham Maslow. Likewise, he also contributed much to the development of the management and motivational theory. He is best known for his Theory X and Theory Y, and these two theories has been explained in the book of The Human Side of Enterprise. McGregor explained that the various assumptions of the managers about the human behavior and that how the superior manages their subordinates. McGregor identified an approach of creating an environment within which employees are motivated via authoritative direction and control or integration and self-control, which he called Theory X and Theory Y. Theory X. Theory X assumes that employees are naturally unmotivated and dislike working, and this encourages an authoritarian style of management. According to this view, management must actively intervene to get things done. This style of management assumes that workers most of the time dislike working. They avoid their responsibility and most of the time they need to be directed. The workers have to be controlled forced and threatened to deliver what's needed, as well as the workers supervised at every step with controls put in place. They need to be controlled to produce the results. They have no ambition or incentive to work. Theory X. X-type organizations required many managers and supervisors to control the workers. There is little delegation of authority and control remains firmly centralized. McGregor recognized that X-type workers are in fact usually the minority, and yet in mass organizations such as large-scale production environment, X-theory management may be required and can be unavoidable. As we already discussed earlier, that in theory X, there are the different types of workers who do not like work. In each and every step, they have to need to guide, to direct, and to motivate. But on the contrary, theory X stated that each individual like work as he like to rest or to play. Similarly, in theory Y, McGregor stated that the persons who followed the theory X are minimum in number. On the other hand, theory Y stated that the persons who like work are much more than in comparison of the people who behave in theory X. Theory Y. This theory assumes that management by direction and control is not applicable in cases of those employees whose physiological and social needs have been satisfied. Theory Y relies on self-control and self-regulation. The following are the assumptions of theory Y. People like work and they involved in work as natural as involved in play or rest. People like not only to accept responsibility but also seek responsibility. People possess creativity and imagination. People to prefer, lead, and exercise self-direction and control. People have unlimited potential of capabilities. So, the theory Y is based on the assumptions that there is no need to direct each and every time to the employees. They are self-aware and they like to do the work and take responsibilities in context of the organization. Theory X represents the traditional and narrow view of human nature, while Theory Y represents a modern and dynamic nature of workers. An organization designed on the basis of Theory Y will assume decentralization, participation of leadership, and two-way communication. So students, let's now summarize what we have learned in this module. Behavioral management thoughts were developed in response to know about the employee behavior and motivation. These thoughts moved the management from a production orientation style to a leadership style and consider the workers' human need for work-related satisfaction and good working conditions. These thoughts considered the social and welfare aspects of employees, which further increase the satisfaction and motivation among them. If we compare the behavioral management thought with the classical thoughts, again there are a lot of differences. In classical thoughts, the concentration were given only on incentive motivators like monetary aspects and other related aspects, but on the other hand, in behavioral aspect of management, the human aspect has been considered, and by satisfying the human needs, we can motivate the workers with providing the good working conditions.